My name is Derek Brindisi, and I'm the town manager here in the town of Plymouth. Thank you all for coming out this morning. Before we begin our remarks, I'd like to recognize a number of dignitaries that are here today. Governor Maura Healey is here this morning. Governor was here a couple months ago. We were talking about affordable housing. We always love to have the governor here talking about new efforts, new initiatives, funding opportunities that are coming forward. So thank you, Governor, for being here. Lieutenant Governor Healey-Driscoll is here. Senator Dylan Fernandez is with us, right behind me. There he is. Representative Michelle Badger is here to my right. Representative Thomas Stanley is right over here to my rear. Stephanie Landry, who's representing Kathy Lenatra, is here today. Thank you for being here. Chair of the Plymouth Select Board, Dick Quintal, is here, over here behind us. Thank you, Mr. Quintal. Select Board member and our Cal liaison, Charlie Bletzer, is also here today. Mr. Bletzer is the liaison to the Cal on behalf of the Select Board, so a lot of the things you'll hear about today is being led by his efforts. Massachusetts Aging and Independence Secretary, Robin Limson, is here. Massachusetts Secretary, Health and Human Services, Kate Walsh, is here. And our local Commissioner of Health and Human Services, Michelle Brady, is here. So thank you all for being here today. And I know I already mentioned the Lieutenant Governor, but the Lieutenant Governor is already here. Thanks for being here, Ken. So before I turn the podium over to the Governor, I'd like to say a few things. So just for everyone's information, for the town of Plymouth, 42% of Plymouth's population is age 55 and older, and that is projected to be 50% in the next 5 years. The number of residents that are 80 and older are expected to double during the same time period. And 47% of Plymouth's population is age 50 plus, compared to the statewide average of 38%. So clearly we have a large growing and older population here in Plymouth. And so we've recognized this population, and we've also recognized here in Plymouth the need to expand services, meals programs, exercise programs, arts programs, just to name a few. Just yesterday, we had our Center for Active Living annual Volunteer Appreciation Day. We recognize over 300 volunteers who have assisted in providing the services that I just provided here at the Cal. And many of you volunteers that are here today were probably in the room yesterday. So thank you all for what you have done for our older population. So thank you so much. But the work that the town is focused on for older populations doesn't just happen in these four walls. So I'm going to give you two examples. Back in 2023, the Select Board came to me and said, you know, we have departments that focus on public safety, fire and police. We have departments that focus on public works, DPW, but we don't have a department that focuses on our people. So the Select Board charged me with creating a department that focuses on people. So in the fall of 2023, we created for the first time ever a Health and Human Services Department, and the Cal is a part of that department. This department is focused on engaging community, engaging our people, and seeing what they need for services. And so that's one policy change that this board led 2 years ago, and I appreciate the leadership of our Select Board. The other piece led by Commissioner Michelle Brady, and that started a couple years back, and we finally, a couple years ago, received the Age and Dementia designation. That's really important. First of all, the work that went into that, the Cal Board and others, the energy they put into that, but to get that designation is really important, because it speaks to priorities, right? So when we look at priorities in local government, you look at the budget, right? Whoever gets the most money, in theory, is a priority. But when we look at the policies, it also is an indicator of our priorities. And this age and dementia-friendly designation sets the stage for what we feel is a priority in this community. So we're laser focused on supporting our aging community, everything from providing critical services to developing that sound public policy to support those services. But we can't do this alone, and we never have. Our Cal team has constructed many partnerships within our nonprofit sector and our business community. Engaging community partners is what we do. And we thank them all for them also making seniors their priority as well. But these partnerships just aren't local, as you can imagine, As important, we have received such great and strong support over the last few years from the Healey-Driscoll administration, and we greatly appreciate that. So thank you, Governor Healey, for assisting the town and making seniors a top priority. And without further ado, I'd love to invite you to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Derek. It's great to be with you, great to be with members of your team, members of the Select Board, including Charlie and Dick. Thanks for what you guys do every day. And you know, Derek, that was a great housing development we were celebrating not too long ago in Plymouth. Awesome, wasn't it? You were there too. It was so great. We were both there. It was great. And, you know, I just want to commend the people in Plymouth for the support you've given to leadership to see these projects through. And that extends, of course, to the elected officials who help in part fund these initiatives. And so it's great to be able to stand here alongside Senator Fernandez and Representative Badger, and appreciate all the work that you do. And we even have our good friend, Chair Tom Stanley, who's made the trip down today. He's co-chair of the Committee on Aging and Independence, because I think we all understand the importance of and the opportunity we have when we support all of our residents. And that's what we're doing here today. I am really happy to be here alongside Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, who will speak to you in just a minute, but she's a champion for this work in our administration. And our Secretary of Health and Human Services, Kate Walsh, is here. And one of the things that Kate has done as a great leader that she is, was make sure that we had a new Secretary for Aging and Independence, Robin Lipson, who will be speaking in just a moment. I want to thank Jen Benson and Antron Watson from AARP for everything that you do, including in partnership with our administration. I want to thank Michelle. Thank you so much for everything that you do, Commissioner of Health and Human Services here in Plymouth. Michelle Brody met me at the door. You heard the singing from the Golden Melodies. That was awesome. Thank you, Golden Melodies. And Dottie Belanger. Dottie's daughter Danielle and I went to college together, and it's great to meet you and listen to your wonderful team. To James Fuccioni of the Mass Health Aging Collaborative, to Beth Chandler from Point 32 Health Foundation, which is a philanthropic arm giving important funding here. Betsy Connell, Maddie Noonan from the Mass Councils on Aging, Michelle Putnam of the UMass Boston Gerontology Institute, and CEO Gladys Vega of La Collaborativa in Chelsea, serving a diverse aging community. Also, not for nothing, she made the trip from the North Shore to the South Shore. She crossed that great divide. Welcome to the South Shore and God's country, Gladys. And Joanne LaBelle, one of our great residents here. So, look, I'll cut right to it. First of all, let me acknowledge AARP, an outstanding organization for which I think I qualify for membership. Jesus. It's like, I'm going to take full advantage of that someday. But AARP started a network of age-friendly states years ago, age-friendly states and communities. And it was a part of a national movement to make our country more age-friendly. And Massachusetts was one of the first states to join the network. Today, over 250 cities and towns are part of that network. And it's paid off because a recent study of census data showed that we are the #1 destination among all states for people who move for their retirement. That may surprise you, all right? Because we know a lot of people that move to Florida. I get that. It's okay, Florida. But at the end of the day, for what you can get in our state and the way that we try to work hard at the state and local level to respect the dignity and worth of every person, especially as they age, when they only get wiser and better and more valuable, it's not surprising Massachusetts is like the #1 state for that. So thank you. There's also There's also something, I think personal for me. Some of you may know that I was raised mostly by a single mom. She had 5 of us. I was the oldest, starting about age 10. And my grandparents, I would not be here today if it weren't for my grandparents. My grandfather taught us all to drive. My grandmother would drive us all to practices. And I learned so much from them. And I also saw firsthand the vibrancy, My grandfather would be out hustling, growing pansies, doing flea markets and antiques on the side, to help pay bills. My grandmother was really involved in community, the Historical Society, Horticultural Society, the Doll Club, all of that. And I just learned so much from my grandparents. And, I am so grateful. And as I think about what we're able to announce today, it's just, in a small way, a way to honor them, and a way to honor all of our residents who, as I say, I mean it when I say, as we get older, and this is a little self-serving, as we get older, we get better. So here's what we're going to do, okay? I'm signing an executive order today. I'm signing an executive order that's directing all of our offices, state agencies, to identify where age-friendly policies and practices can be embedded in our work. We want to improve the health and well-being of everyone in this state, and we want to make sure that we're really intentional about how we're valuing, good morning, Chief, how we're valuing and respecting our residents as they age. The executive order does a couple things. It establishes a governor's advisory group on age-friendly policies and practices. I want, and the LG wants, and Robin wants your input when we're thinking about transportation, housing, education, the delivery of health care, right? All of these things. And we also are launching something for the first time today. It's an updated age and dementia-friendly state plan, which will help bring this executive order to light. Reimagining aging, that's a plan. Thank you very much, Secretary Lipson, for your leadership there. I'm excited about this plan. You'll hear more about it, but it started with a couple things. One, we needed a new name, okay? So instead of the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, we are the Executive Office of Aging and Independence, okay? We did that earlier this year. So we start with a new name. With a new name, we need to tell people what we're doing, and we're running a campaign. We're running the campaign to spread awareness on supports available to everyone as we age and get older in this great state of Massachusetts. So you'll hear more about this, but basically, I want everyone to thrive. And you know what? I need you to thrive, because there are so many challenges that we confront. You see it. You see it in your kids, your grandkids. There's a lot of strain out there. We've worked to cut taxes. We're the administration that doubled the tax credit for seniors. We're the team that's working every day to lower costs, to try to build more homes so we can, make it more affordable for folks here. But I just want to say to you, in a plea for help, your talents, your expertise, we want you in the game too, okay? We want you in the game. But for you to be in the game, you need to not worry about housing security or food security or how you're going to get around and about to where you need to go. You also need to not worry about what's happening to your kids and your grandkids. So this all will work together, because there's a lot of people out there with need. A lot of people out there with need. And I just think there are tremendous ways that you can help support and further what we want to do as a great state. So thank you all for letting us come to Plymouth today. And with that, I turn it over to our great Lieutenant Governor, Kim Driscoll.
How lucky am I that I get to work with this amazing governor every single day? Thanks so much for having us here today. And we're here in Plymouth because you all are getting it right. Derek, the team locally, Michelle, you've been leaning into this work for a long time, and it's evident just in this very building that we're in. Places have an energy when you walk into a facility like this, and you can see it's got great energy. People are happy to be here. This is exactly what we're trying to capture when we think about how to be an age-friendly Commonwealth. It's evidence right here in this space. You know, I like to think of this work in particular is really about from community up, not mandated from the state top down. We're happy to uplift and empower the work that all of you are doing. And what communities think and need really matters. It's really at our core here when we think about the work in this space that's so necessary, not just here in Plymouth, but across all of our 351 cities and towns. As the governor mentioned, you know, our age-friendly state plan was built on community input. It really listened to people in regions. Thanks to the many partners in this room, last year we were able to host a series of 9 community listening sessions all across the state. And in these sessions, we heard new insights and uncovered new opportunities to meet the challenges of the future. We discussed ideas and policies and how we could support people to age well in our communities. If you think about it, it's some of the most important work we can do. We wanted to make sure we're inclusive. We held sessions in English and Spanish. We offered live translation. We included American Sign Language. And by the end, we had nearly 1,000 people either attend these sessions or fill out a survey to share input with us about what are the key issues that matter to them that we can work on. And when you read the state plan, and I hope everybody will read the state plan, you'll hear the voices from communities of individuals who told us their stories and how we can work together to improve circumstances. You know, as a former mayor, I want you to know that I think everybody here in all of our communities can really use and incorporate this plan into their thinking. You see it as your words. I hope you also see it as a real call to action, because this is really important work. As we think about what means age-friendly, it might look different in Plymouth than it might need to look in Brockton, and it might be something different in Pittsfield than it might look in Salem in my community. We want it to be born out of your most pressing needs and serving the community that matters most, that you can be a champion for. We got involved in this, I got involved in this work as a mayor who saw a need, like Michelle, like Derek, like local leaders here, who said, how do we do more to ensure that, in Salem's case, the 20% of the population who are older adults could really age in place? And we meant that very seriously. We had older adults who really didn't come to our community life center. We had older adults who wouldn't step foot in the community life center. We had older adults who had outlived their ability to drive and needed different services. We had older adults who were perfect at driving and wanted to help out. Matching up those services, getting people involved is really key. So we hope you'll see this plan, see yourself through it, and come up with ideas. Support home modification programs as older adults and that they can safely age in place. Collaborate with local health providers to have preventative care, mental health services, and the like. Ensure that public communication is really clear and accessible and culturally appropriate. In Salem, we started looking at restaurant menus. Anybody have trouble reading restaurant menus on occasion? Yeah, myself included. Small things that meant a big difference so people could understand that they were valued and they mattered, and we wanted to ensure that they could easily have access to things that mattered. Walkable infrastructure. We call our plan Salem for All Agers. It benefited moms with strollers as much as it did our older adults. There is work to do. Each community can play a role in it, and we think the beauty of this plan is it can be adapted in that way. And I want you to know we're not just relying on local officials. When we think about our state, this isn't just the Health and Human Services Department's job to figure this out. We're not putting it all on our secretary. We're talking about housing and more supportive housing models and how do we allow folks to age in place with dignity and respect. When we think about transportation and supporting RTAs and other ways to move people around, there are multiple state departments who are going to be looking at opportunities to partner with all of you at the local level to ensure that Massachusetts not only is but remains an age-friendly state. You know, aging in place is a heck of a lot better than beating any alternative I know, and so it's important for us to do the work and make sure everyone sees themselves through this effort. And so I'm really grateful to be a part of this. Know that you can count on us to be an ally as we move forward. It's now my privilege to introduce our rock star Secretary of Health and Human Services, Kate Walsh.
Hi there, everybody. Thanks for having me. I came in today and I thought, maybe I'll move to Plymouth. What a beautiful spot. I want to thank the team for making it so welcome, for all the snacks. It's really just wonderful to walk in. I think when the LG talks about a place having a buzz, what a great buzz. You know, this is more than just a name change. You know, when I started in this role and I learned about the Secretary of Elder Affairs, I thought, like, is that like a dating service? And not that there's anything wrong with that. If there's some romances brewing here, good. But but I think the name change really does embody and kind of crystallize what we're trying to do, which is hear from you about how we can better support this process that all of us go through. And, I won't reiterate everything that the LG said, but the most important thing about this plan is that it was completely shaped by the 9 community listening sessions that we had across the state. It's different than it would have been if we wrote it on the 11th floor of Ashburton Place. And so, I would just encourage you to send cards, letters, tell us what we're doing right, tell us what we're doing wrong. Sometimes we learn more from that. And, the 6 elements of the plan have really been touched on, but the one that, that we're responsible for in Health and Human Services is making sure that basic needs are met. And you can't think about your community and you can't participate in the community if you're worried about rent, if you're worried about food. So reach out, because there are resources for you, for your neighbors, for your family members. And really, I'm just so proud to be part of this today. And again, let me know if you know a great place in Plymouth, because I'll be hanging out here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Robin Lipson, and I am proud to serve as the Secretary for Aging and Independence. And I agree, a much better name than the previous name. And when I came to work for the executive office about 10 years ago, my son said exactly what Secretary Walsh said. So, Ma, are you like helping older adults find dates? And I was like, gosh, we've got to change the name. So glad we were able to do that. And I have prepared remarks, but honestly, the governor, the lieutenant governor, and Secretary Walsh have said it so beautifully. I just want to add a few things. The first thing I want to say is that everything in this plan, which is called Reimagine Aging, which has a little pun on words because the MA in Reimagine is the MA for Massachusetts. You'll be able to find this online, and we have copies, a few copies here for people. There's not one idea in this plan that came from a corner office on Beacon Hill. Every single idea in this plan came from a community, a group of residents, a group of service providers, transportation providers, and so it really is kind of our honor to compile it and to own it, and to help shepherd the work through, but it's really very much a community-based plan. The second thing I want to say is that the executive order that the governor's about to sign, it's really about making aging everyone's business. It's not just about the doctors who treat older adults, or about senior centers, or about the people who deliver meals to folks who might not be able to get out of their homes. It's really about how does public safety interact with older adults? How does the registry of motor vehicles work for older adults? I heard the other day from someone, not as well as we might like. How do we think about housing? How do we think about transportation? And how do we kind of bring this all up to a level so that the services are the best possible services for people of all ages? So that's kind of my short message here to you this morning. I don't want to take too much time. I'd like to turn it over to Jen Benson, who is my colleague from AARP Massachusetts, a wonderful colleague and an incredible advocate. Where is she? Yes.
Well, good morning, Plymouth. This is a great morning. I'm excited to be here with you, and I'm excited to represent AARP here today. First, I have to thank Governor Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, Secretary Walsh, Secretary Lipson. Where did you go? Oh, you're right there. Secretary Lipson for all of their work and their teams. I mean, this was a major effort. So you heard a little bit about all the listening sessions across the state. Let me tell you, they were not just listening, it was informative, it was honest, it was raw from the people who came forward and gave their honest appraisal of what it was like to age here in Massachusetts. This plan is from them. And this plan, thanks to the Healey-Driscoll administration, is a plan of action. It's not a compendium of ideas. It's an actual plan that will be enacted here in Massachusetts, and that's really, really important. AARP started the Age and Dementia-Friendly Network across the United States. Massachusetts jumped right in. One of the first states to take this to heart and say, we can do this, we can focus on this, and we see the fruits of that today. As we've already heard, #1 place to retire to. And it's not because of our warm weather year-round, right? It's because of the care and planning that goes into making sure everybody is welcome. When we say age-friendly, we use that in an inclusionary way. Everyone. Everyone is respected, everyone is represented, and everyone feels safe, secure, healthy, active, and heard. That's what age-friendly community means in an age-friendly state. We have 250 communities that are in the process or are age-friendly communities out of 351 cities and towns. And they're not doing this because someone's forcing them to do it. They're doing it because they realize the importance and the benefits it provides to everyone across their community and across the state. And I have to say, the leadership of the Healey-Driscoll administration is unique in the fervor with which they undertake this, and the executive order, signing that today, really puts a stake in the ground that this is a priority. Yes, we have an aging population, and you know, not too long ago, I was a local elected official, like some of the folks in this room, and people talked about the aging population as this thing they were scared of, like this is going to happen to us. We know it's not happening to us, it's happening with us, with everyone. Everyone in this room is aging, and everyone in this room benefits from these principles, priorities, and this executive order. I can't thank enough the work you've done. Secretary Lipson, it's been an honor working with you. And I have to recognize Antron Watson from AARP Massachusetts, who not only is a leader here in Massachusetts around these ideas and an expert in every way, but he is recognized nationally and is asked to speak across the AARP network nationally about the work we've done here in Massachusetts. I also have to recognize our former state president, Sandra Harris, who is here, who has done so much. To put a fine point on how this is so critical. For someone to age in place, have a healthy, active lifestyle, they need opportunities to grow, to meet, to socialize, and to be truly part of community. Her work has elevated this on a national scale, understanding that social isolation is an impact on the health and cognitive health in every community across Massachusetts. She's been a true leader, and it's been my pleasure to work with her. So, yeah, you can. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Michelle, and thank you for your leadership here in Plymouth.
Thank you so much. I could take my 2 minutes to thank everyone on this team, but we're not worthy, and we're so grateful for you to be here. Thank you. Talking a little bit about the Center for Active Living, lovingly known as CAL, is a nationally recognized senior center of excellence. We have over 300 programs, 16,000 members, 300 plus volunteers, 2 incredibly hardworking boards, and 13 dedicated caring staff. CAL is the heartbeat of Plymouth and strives to provide innovative programming designed to inspire older adults while meeting critical needs in our community. A few of CAL's highlights include the creation of a senior task force committee, of course, obtaining a formal age and dementia-friendly designation, partnering with Bridgewater State University to create a senior college curriculum, and co-creating a post-pandemic mental health program that places MSW students at senior centers throughout the Southeast region to provide free, one-on-one counseling services to older adults. Notably, this groundbreaking program recently won a U.S. Aging 2025 National Aging Innovation and Achievement Award. Right? Wow, I mean, come on, there we go. By definition, a center is the literal point around which anything rotates or revolves. Senior centers are the point from which all intersecting needs of older adults are met. CAL and senior centers across the Commonwealth are golden needles threading the tapestry of rich and vital experiences of older adults. Senior centers are fitness and yoga studios, artist studios, martial art facilities, and college campuses. They are counseling offices, insurance advisors, nutrition providers, and social outreach service experts. They are post-career purpose places, support group hubs, debate halls, and civic engagement centers. They are cafe dining, dancing, singing, acting, and live entertainment studios. They are all these things and 1,000 more that nurture the mind, body, and spirit of older adults. But mostly, and most importantly, they are the center and heartbeat of vital human connections. Thank you, Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, for your ongoing commitment to older adults in our community and communities across the Commonwealth. It is my honor to introduce CAL patron and Plymouth resident, Joanne LaBelle.
Governor Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, distinguished guests, and fellow CAL patrons, it's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. Michelle called and asked me to give you a 2-minute speech on personal perspective of why this is such a special place. I may go a little bit over 2 minutes, but you can cut me off anytime you need to. I retired just about 10 years ago this month, and shortly thereafter, I became a card-carrying member of the CAL. And over time, I took different classes and courses and enjoyed festive activities, and then started working with the board on some of the projects on the Strategic Planning Committee and the Marketing Committee and the Grant Committee, and life was good. And then on a cold Sunday morning in January of 2023, I went to get up out of bed and hit the floor and realized I was having a stroke. After the EMTs took me to the Plymouth BID, I knew I had a friend there because one of our board members, Pat, who was just honored for the number of hours and volunteer time that she spends at BID, was there, and she would know that I was there. And bright and early that Tuesday morning, this little ball of energy was standing at the foot of my bed going, "Why are you here? What's wrong? What's going on? Are they taking good care of you? What do you need?" So we chatted for a few minutes, and before she left, Pat asked if it would be all right for her to tell the CAL team where I was, and that obviously I wouldn't be back working on any projects for a while after that. So she did that. And later that week, I was transferred to the Spaulding Hospital as an inpatient in Sandwich, Massachusetts. And that's another wonderful group of people, but that's another speech for another day. And the next day, someone came in and handed me a greeting card. And when I opened it up, it said, "Thinking of you, the CAL team." And every day after that, a card came. And a card came every day that I was at Spaulding. And then when I transferred to a step-down unit, the cards kept coming. And then, because I lived by myself, I was not ready to go home and live by myself, so I went to assisted living. And the cards kept coming, and the cards kept coming. And there were some traditional cards, and there were some contemporary cards, and then there was the infamous card of the rooster in a Hospital Johnny walking down the dirt road with his tail feathers flowing in the wind. And I have yet to figure out why, with all the genius power in this world, someone cannot design a Hospital Johnny where the wearer's tail feathers are not blowing in the breeze at the totally inappropriate time. So several months later, in August of 2023, it was time for me to go home. And as I packed up all of the things, I packed up this large bag of cards. But it wasn't just a bag of cards. It was a bag of love and care and concern and encouragement and all of the things that we need every day to keep going on as we get older, and particularly the things that we need when we are seniors and recovering from an illness or an injury. And every day that I walk through the front door of the Cal, there's always a smiling face there saying, hello, how you doing today? And usually something like, oh, love your earrings, what a pretty sweater you have on. It's just great to see you. So it's a very special place. It's near and dear to my heart and will always be there. So I thank you very much.
Thank you, Joanne, for that beautiful story. I'm Dylan Fernandez, State Senator for Plymouth. I want to thank the governor and lieutenant governor for being back in Plymouth. This is an administration that loves this town. They seem to be here once a month. It's amazing. They give this town a lot of attention. And I can't think of a better place than Plymouth to make this announcement. Plymouth is a state leader and really a nation leader when it comes to supporting our seniors, when it comes to centers like this. And we were a leader, this town was a leader in the aging and dementia-friendly designation. It has a senior task force that does work on this every month to support people living in this community. And I was part of a meeting recently where the business community was involved around a purple tablecloth initiative, bringing more people in the community to support seniors living here. We have a lot to be proud about in this town, and I just want to thank all of the volunteers that do the work and are the heartbeat for the Center of Active Living, because you guys, there's hundreds of you. It's incredible what you do, and this place is always a buzz. We have our monthly office. I was here Monday. We have our monthly office hours here. Whenever I come in, this place is like, it's like kind of a club when you walk in here. It's like, there's things going on everywhere. It's buzzing, as the LG mentioned, and I love to be here. So I'll just close by saying we have a budget right now that I have to go vote on, and we were talking with Michelle, talking with the town. We do have an amendment in there for money for the Center for Active Living for rides for people here to make sure that they get the transportation access that they need, which is so important, especially in a community that's over 100 square miles. It's good to get a ride. But thank you guys, and with that, I'll turn it over to your fantastic state representative, Michelle Badger.
Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to be here to uplift the work that's being done at Cal day in and day out. Yesterday, I had the opportunity, as has already been mentioned, to talk at the volunteer luncheon, and just the incredible number of hours. I think, what was that check for $1.9 million for if we had to pay for the staff to do the Meals on Wheels and all the wonderful things that our volunteers do here. So I'm just really happy to be here today to uplift the wonderful work that you all do. I want to be a member. I think I tell that to Michelle every time I come in here, go to an art class or any of the things. We were here for Representative Lenatra and I, who couldn't be here today, but we were here for a dance party the other day. And I think what's so important, as Michelle Brady mentioned, is that our senior center, or our Center for Active Living, our senior center, is the hub of so much that happens at Plymouth. We built Plymouth North as a former member of the school committee. We built Plymouth North and the Center for Active Living close together for that purpose. So they are intergenerational experiences are happening every day. I know tomorrow we have a group of students coming from a PE class to be part of the dance class, which I think is line dancing. So to us in Plymouth, it's so important for that intergenerational connection. And as the governor mentioned, that was part of my upbringing. My grandparents, and as I called them, my fake grandparents, but my neighbors, who Mr. and Mrs. Buddy, who were there for me throughout my childhood, helping me learn so many different parts of current events and so many other parts that we have here that are happening every day with the students at Plymouth North who are coming over here for clubs and organizations. So I'm just really excited to be here, and really thank you so much to the governor and the lieutenant governor to come here to sign the executive order.
let's sign it. Yes.